It's so good to still have you around. It's still Good Morning Anambra show. And now Nigeria's quest for equity, fairness, and national unity has once again brought the issue of geopolitical representation to the forefront. A proposed bill seeking to create additional geopolitical zones has sparked fresh debate across the country. Supporters argue that the bill could correct historical imbalances, improve inclusiveness, and strengthen the federal character principle. Critics, on the other hand, warn that creating new zones, could deepen political rivalry, increase the cost of governance, and raise difficult constitutional and economic questions. As discussions continue in the National Assembly, many Nigerians are asking, is this the right time for a new geopolitical arrangement? Will it promote national cohesion or create fresh divisions? A lot of questions, clouding the minds of Nigerians. And in the studio this morning, we've been joined by the former Vice President Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide, Chief Damian Okeke Ogene, to help us in the discussion this morning. Chief, you're welcome to the studio. We say good morning and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my people, good morning all. Let's enjoy the conversation.
All right. Remember, this program, you can join us and make your own input when you get to our Facebook page. Drop your comment and we pick it up from there to air here live. Now, let's begin by asking this important question, sir. For the benefit of our viewers, what exactly does the proposed geopolitical zone bill seek to achieve, and why has it generated so much national attention?
Well, I must say I'm happy that I'm alive, seeing some of these things proposed by our leaders and the Ohanaeze in general. When we are talking about restructuring, that's major aspects of restructuring. But we must give it to our red brother and leader, led Dr. Arese Kweme and the Ikemba, and members of the National Conference. They are the Igbos and the Ohanaeze are the architects of seasonal structure. And today, even the last summit we had here, Kwenobiana was the governor, Soludo, the current governor, was the chairman of the occasion. This is one of the resolutions passed by the leaders of Afanifele, Niger Delta, Ohanaeze at the Kweme Stadium. So today, no government is totally bad in whatever they are doing, like human being, no perfect human being. But for now, I must say that the current president is scratching the resolutions of that Constituent Assembly and the restructuring by Ohanaeze and Afanifere. Now he has established Southeast
Development
Commission. Now he has been he started talking about state police. Now it's coming about zonal structure. I think if we can be able to complete all these three, whoever comes next will see that all through the agendas of the restructuring and all these things, if completed, we must think and believe we have a different Nigeria than what we have today. So it's a welcome development, and I think every Nigerian supported it.
It's a welcome development, but there are questions on the lips of Nigerians whether this is actually the right time to start the proposing this bill. And of course, what actually is the historical or political grievances this bill is attempting to address, and are these concerns genuinely significant enough to justify creating additional geopolitical zone. So the two questions here: what is it the right time to propose this bill, and what is it historical or political grievances is it going to address?
It is the best time, even it's read, but it only takes a courageous person to dive into it. It will correct the imbalance. Look at the six geopolitical zone they are talking of now. They are now saying that every zone will have 7 states. But here we have some people who have 7 states, who have 6, and we have 5. So if you go by six geopolitical zone where they talk about equality, equity and fairness, then the additional state we have been looking for will just come in immediately. So that will address that side. Secondly, the issue of sharing of revenue and every other thing. There will be equity, fairness. If we assist your political zone and 7 states, you see what we lose in every month or in every year. It goes into trillions. Look at for how long we have been cheated out of the state's creation. We are operating with 5 states in Southeast. The only zone that are operating with 5 states. The list is 6 and 7. And we're not the same Nigerians. So I think everybody will support and believe that it is a right time. Secondly, coming with state police, irrespective of what people are saying that the governors will abuse it, do this, the commander-in-chiefs, both past and present, they are human beings, they are never perfect. You can see when we are giving police commission order here, we say, I'm waiting for the order from the above. So the above must be there, but it depends how people see it. But people should know that this governance, you come and go. So if people are talking, if the governor is abusing the state police for 8 years, he will go. Another person will come, he will pay for his sins.
And you think the concerns are genuine enough, are significant enough to, justify creating additional geopolitical zone? Because you talk about being fair to the South.
The gains are more than the loss.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, our leaders has labored to see, there's no way we can get into Nigeria and believing we are all Nigeria without equity and fairness. And you can imagine the gray hair of the Igbo leaders in the National Assembly, backed by Ohanese then, we are only, their major concern there is restructuring. And they have, in fact, and he came back to Ekweme because they never wanted this thing to be read in the floor of the Constituent Assembly. They were shouting him, but he came back to him and said, move. That's a resolution from the Southeast. Today, it's entering into Nigeria gradually like kerosene. So, and the people are seeing that it's sometimes there's something people, when Igbo man thinks, it doesn't think for today, it thinks for tomorrow.
No, I think there's something I want us to bring home here. Ndị bias na mmadụ anara achị aka na abụ away n'ọnụ n'ofu oge. There's something you said there, talking about what this present administration is doing, setting up the Southeast Development Commission, planning of state policing, and now the bill for proposed what is it called? They proposed the
structural zone.
Yes, the geopolitical zone. These 3 things. And now, don't you think this is, taking too much, or don't you think you're supposed to do things one after the other? That when you, put them together, doing them at the same time, one may be affected, or you may not get it right or perfectly okay in one area, and while the other will suffer, the other may be gaining. So what's your take on that? Packing this together and doing them almost at the same time.
People used to say it takes 2 to cooperate. One will be going, the other one will be operating. So all of them are intertwined. They must work together. You can't. The state police it should be controlled from zonal to state level. Then the Southeast Development Commission is for the same zone, the same way.
Yes, I really understand. But what I'm trying to
that is the best time to bring up.
What I'm trying to find out is that in the last 3 weeks ago, we saw what the Southeast Development Commission was going on, how the Senate were quizzing the Mark Okoye leader, Southeast Development Commission and all whatnot. Is it not proper to finish one before going into the other so that none of them suffers in the long run?
Let me tell you, management is quite different from setting up a structure.
Okay.
The most important thing is that the structure is already there. If there is budgeting now, there will be budget for Southeast Development Commission. Okay. How it is managed is left for the 5 governors in the Southeast. And we, including me and you, it's meant for us. We should ask questions. Okay. So if anything is going wrong there, it's no more from the presidency. So whatever is happening is we to ask the question and to know it's we to testify whether there's a job, in fact, the most important thing we needed to know is that there is allocation to Southeast Development Commission. Then the second thing is, what is that money being used for? So there's no problem at all. In fact, kudos to Mr. Tinubu for ever thinking towards that direction. Okay. Then the state police, I tell you, if you see what is happening now, so every time, look at the little bit sample of state police. This Udogachi, established by the current administration, has reduced crime. And you know that they are not even properly trained. They were just makeshift. But they are doing a lot. How much more will have an organized, trained police officers from Anambra here, state police, when we can get 70% of them? We live with them. These criminals are our brothers. We live with them. Those who don't live with it cannot just come from the moon and steal and go. We'll cut them. So the most important thing is that all is working towards progress and development and autonomy.
All right. We keep our fingers crossed, watching how it unfolds. Now, if passed into law, because this is still a bill, how do you think the new geopolitical arrangement will influence political representation, resource allocation, federal appointment, and of course, national development?
You see, this is where this thing comes in. When we are talking about national cake, what do you call it? You see the appointment, whether it is a federal character, whether it is being reflected or not. Then now, on this political zone, anything should be divided into states. You take your own. But now, look at the federal character. Can you say it's operating? It's not operating, but if it's on zonal structure, the zones will now query why.
Okay.
So now,
But the zones have been querying, just like Southeast have been, talking about...
It's an individual.
Individual.
No, collectively, no government has asked the president, why do you, and the service chiefs have only one person. Where in the ministerial appointments, some states have 3 and some states have 2, some have 1 mandatory. So I don't want to go into details about, but what I'm trying to tell you, the federal character, both in civil service, both in appointment, is not working for now.
Okay. For the zones, right?
Yes. So I think this zonal structure will help to. Let me tell you, it's indirectly we are going for confederation. From this zonal structure, there's not much difference from it to confederation. So the states and zones can even a lot of things that will come out of it. You are resources. You can when the details come out, you may be managing your resources and paying tax to the federal government. If we are going to do like what is happening in America or other places, so it will make states to work hard, not to depend only on the revenue allocation from
the federal government.
Then self-employment and create jobs and everything. And like here, we have abundance of well-educated people, but nothing. Even if you go on the quota basis or federal character, the people will exhaust what they have, but we have a lot that we cannot even exhaust. You see number of thousands of Southeasterners graduates, millions every year in university. And if there's no 100 jobs for them. So, but we can create jobs. Now, something that are in the federal charge can now come to state level, like electricity, railway, and every other thing. Government of each state can create a business where their people will be employed.
All right, Nigeria seems, is already grappling with economic challenges and the high cost of governance, which some of us have, we've talked about it over and over here, that there is need to cut cost of governance. Now, can the country realistically afford the financial implications that may accompany the creation of new geopolitical zones? Can we?
The waste of resources.
Well, we keep borrowing.
The waste of resources in the system now can, if it's curbed, can carefully take care of all this.
How do you mean the waste of resources?
Look at every time you hear trillions, $4 billion, dollars, not even naira. Look at what is trending now.
Okay, the ones people are.
Look at the now an organization.
Commission that
does not exist, but so how can you?
Okay.
If we, I think all this is just talking about such a commission. But what of individuals? You see, a lot of billions went away on is corruption, mismanagement. That is still our problem. We have enough resources to take care of everybody in this country. I tell you.
Okay, more than enough resources, but we need to cut down on some activities like what we're experiencing
spending
now.
Unnecessary, spending money on things that will not yield any results.
All right, in case you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Anambra. We are discussing the proposed geopolitical zone bill, the prospects and the challenges we stand to face as a people, whether this is actually going to fly, and when it does, what we stand to gain or lose from it. At this point, let's go for a very short break. The program returns after now.
It enhances greater unity, because when the geopolitical zones are given that opportunity, improved upon, it gives greater opportunity. The voice of other zones can be heard, and also reduces over-centralization.
Yes, now, every geopolitical zone should be given adequate consideration. Okay, for instance, the Southeast have 5 states. Other geopolitical zones, like the West, they have 6 states. I think some have 7. Then why should the South have 5? And we have been soliciting for it to know avail. They know the truth and they want to stand by it. So if equity and justice is maintained in this nation, then there will be adequate cooperation to move the nation forward. So all these things are even in appointments, you discover that we are marginalized. The Southeasterners in particular.
So these are some of the things that working on the geopolitical zone, improving on them, can do for the country. It brings the country together. It also helps us to balance development. It encourages in development balance, where the West, the North, the South, everybody is happy there is equal distribution of the national resources?
Of course, the answer is yes. Because number one is that Nigeria is a very wide zone. It's a very big country. And if you want to operate from the federal to control the entire Nigerian system, it's impossible. You know, that's why you have all this Boko Haram, you have all this, all these people that are, terrorizing the country. Assuming we are going to allow the geographical zones like the south, southeast, northeast, north, and the rest of them to be strengthened, they should have their own police. And if they have their own police, they will be able to organize a very powerful reform in their zone to make sure that they are not, the infidels do not take advantage of the wideness of Nigeria.
The only thing I like about geopolitical zones is that it should be able to be used to entrench federal character in appointments and other sharing national cake. But if it's making it going back to zonal structure, they allow this Midwest, North, South. I don't want that. I don't want regional government again. I don't believe in it because it's what caused the Civil War. But people are saying let's go back to regional government. Regional government caused the Civil War. If regional government was abolished and early enough, the East will not have been strong enough to succeed. You know what I mean? And they will have saved Nigeria a lot of problem.
Each zone has a kind of what they are known for. Okay, the northeast, northwest, some are agric zones. Now, if you strengthen them, they will be able to harness the resources in that area and use what they have, to grow the economy.
Welcome back to the show. The proposed geopolitical zone bill, prospects and challenges. We felt the pulse of the masses out there. And of course, they are actually saying most of the things we've said here is what they are concurring, that they talked about federal character, representation and all whatnot. And in the studio, I've been with Chief Damian Okeke Ogene, the former Vice President Ohaneze Ndibu worldwide. So talking about the people that we interviewed on the street, understanding actually what this means to have, or to the proposed geopolitical zone bill, what it's going to do for this part of the country. So what's your take on that, especially when the man talked about federal character representation?
It's what is in everybody's mind. You can see what the public are saying about it. Everybody's interested and willing and supporting the creation of the zonal structure. It was widely accepted in the Constituent Assembly, but maybe because it's the one thing in Nigeria, when there's a proposal, if it comes from an Igbo man, it looks like something that is not going to be workable. But when they work and see that there's no way, they will go back there. At the National Assembly, they never wanted this bill by the Southeast representative in the Constituent Assembly to be read out. It was war. Eventually, it was admitted and read out, and discussion started. And many of them never give it support. But with the situation in Nigeria today, there's no way without looking into these things. And I think the president has seen that with these things, there are some people who may not like it. Those who have monopoly
Of course, everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion.
Those who have monopoly of having it their way always will never see anything.
Just like our next question that says some analysts actually believe that creating additional zones will foster inclusiveness and national unity. And one person actually said that in the Vox Pop there, while others are afraid it may encourage more ethnic and regional agitation. Now, which of the arguments do you think appears more convincing?
Let me tell you. If you look at, before we are one East Central State, Today, the same one East Central state is 5 states.
Okay.
And we are coexisting. And there's a lot of progress going in. There's so much. The guy who said that it's for good, it's really, mean it. So no matter an implementation, you might have shortfalls, but with time, we can be able to fix it. We can be able to fix it, I'm telling you.
Oh, there's a question I would want us to revisit. When we talked about, how to finance the whole thing, we talked about, cutting costs of governance in Nigeria. Now, I would want us to really go back to that question. How best, can we achieve this and make it so that it's not going to be a problem to either the government or the people, or that it's not going to suffer in the long run? How best do we go about it?
There's not going to be more difference from what is happening now and from what will happen when the more additional states is created. When we have one state, we'll have one state budget. When we have 5 states, the same money spread there. It's a question of management. You can come into this, for instance, let me use Anambra for example. The massive road construction we are enjoying today and the development is the same allocation other states is getting, we are getting. So it depends on who is in the helm of affairs. Management of the resources, prudent management of resources can take you anywhere. And when it gets into competition, people will try to create things that make them to be viable. So there's no, even the Garden of Eden, I don't think is too viable. That's why maybe they give Adam the fruit he has never seen before. So I think viability depends on the management of the person. So whoever is involved, many people go where it's not viable and make it viable. That is creative ideas. Let me tell you, all the money we are spending here now, I remember early 70s, the first state that made budget of 1 million or 1 billion was 999, was Jakande.
Okay.
But today, local government is making budget of more than 1 billion. So you can see, as things goes, things changes. Imagine a state. So now, but you see, money is now in trillion. We started hearing trillion this time.
All right. Now, beyond creating new geopolitical zones, are there alternative reforms that could address concerns about marginalization and unequal representation without altering the country's geopolitical structure? Are there any alternatives?
There has been existing states that know where they belong. Then the additional creation of additional states or adding one, for instance, people are proposing that Anioma should be added to Southeast. There are Igbos who do, in fact, in Ohanese we operate 7 states, where we have 5 states here. In Ohanese we included Anioma, Delta states, in Ohanese 7 states, Rivers in Ohanese 7 states. But that doesn't mean there's no Igbos in Kogi, there's no Igbos in Benue. There are Igbos there. But I think with time, immediately after the Civil War, Igbos became unwanted species. But I think recently, the reality has come into Nigerians. There will be, just like somebody say, I'm from America. With time, even those in the far north some of them would like to say, I'm from Igbo nation. So we are going to make it.
So in other words, what are you proposing apart from geopolitical zone to address these issues of marginalization?
Let me tell you, we are talking of marginalization in Ohanese before. That has been our major headline in everything. Igbos are marginalized. Then Igbos in Benue, the Hausas, Arewa, and the Niger Delta, they kept out of us because they believe we are just being selfish. Until we realize that many Nigerians, some of them are more marginalized in the north than we. Then we change it to restructuring. When we change the marginalization to restructuring, many people, both Benue people, Middle Belt, they join us. Ariwa, some factions in Ariwa who are marginalized. Mainly, Hausa people are more marginalized than us. They're not there.
And you're seeing this geopolitical zone as a kind of restructuring.
It's major restructuring
that we need.
That we need now. It's major restructuring. It's major restructuring. Let me tell you, there are some people who believe that this country belongs to them. And many of the resources that we are using in this country comes from the south. I'm sorry to say that. But 80% of it is being used in the north. So it is when you now have an equity, say we are one country, then let's share it into 6.
Inclusiveness that we are talking about.
Then you can see the managerial ability of each state. There will be competition. Like I've told you now.
We try to outdo each other.
Like what I've said before. You go to Abia, Anambra, and some other states in the southeast. There's a little bit competition among them now on who will tweet it or on development. So you can see the goalpost is being shifted to what can you put on the ground, not stomach infrastructure.
In other words, you're trying to talk about what the Igbo says, Topolo Nketa. All right. Now, I don't know the constitutional hurdles that this bill must overcome before it can be passed, it can become law, and how realistic are its chances of securing the broad political consensus required? Do you think this is going to scale? Every
Nigerian has seen nothing but the truth. The state assemblies that will pass it, I don't know human beings. They want it. It will say through more than any other thing. Okay. It will say through. Unlike the state creation before and the local government autonomy, where some people who are owners of local government never wanted it. And you see, where the governors or the leaders say, don't do this, they don't do. Let me tell you, we are changing. The modern, this new generation are looking at things the way it's supposed to be, not necessarily being piloted through the back doors. I think the House of Assembly, if you put it tomorrow, you get majority to sign it.
Now, you've always talked on a positive side, supportive of the bill and all what. No.
Because you have suffered enough.
Do you really see any challenge, or don't you see challenge?
The challenge will not be as enormous as we are thinking. It will say through. It will say through because everybody needs to, we look at South Africa chasing us out of small time. Guinea-Bissau will chase us out of their country. Ghana has asked us to go. So we must think home and think how we can. We answer giant of Africa by mouth. We want to see things happening. And when it started happening, we started playing big brother to Africans. We are no more their big brother.
We are no more their big brother. Now, when we look ahead of the whole issue, what should Nigerians watch out for as debates on this bill continue? And what would you recommend? Okay, let's answer the first one. What should Nigerians watch out for as debate on this bill continues?
If you see the debate in the National Assembly, you can see it doesn't, it is carefully being looked into. It's not a bill that people come to say whether you are going to give him honey, no. Whether you are going to give him gold, no. People are now sitting down to look into this cross by cross. I think they are diligently looking at it, and in the National Assembly, I think it will come out neat there. It's no more an Igbo affair. Every Nigerian says, because let me tell you, there's no any other way you can manage Nigeria except to weaken the center. This restructuring will weaken the center.
And do what? When
And make states more strong enough to develop.
To develop on their
own.
On their own.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we must have looked and see this, what would you recommend to policymakers, to ensure that any decision ultimately strengthens national unity, justice, and sustainable development?
Yeah, the only thing that will make this country strong and united again is being straightforward and discuss issues as it affects Nigeria, not as it affects you personally. And I believe that with this restructuring they are getting into, if they jam it with political, if it's with political tones, it may even boomerang again. So whatever they are going to do, let they do it before the election. And let it not be that it's being done because of election.
But you know that in this part of the world, most times we have beautiful policies, we have great plans as a nation, but at the end of the day, the implementation is where our problem lies. How do you think this
implementation cannot be 100% failure. Implementation depends on individual states and individual zones. And that, you see, when we are when we are growing up, the best way to achieve anything with your parents is to share responsibilities. You are going to sweep the house. This person is going to go to farm. This person is going to cook. If everybody does his part, the whole team moves. So I think if everybody minds his own responsibility, we'll move. Let the doctors do the medical work. Let the carpenters do the carpenters' work. But here in Nigeria, sometimes if doctor is not easily available, the carpenter will go for operation. That's the type of country we operate.
All right. Now, peradventure, this bill doesn't pass into law. What happens as a people?
What do you think we expect to happen? Let me tell you, Nigeria is a very patient country. Would they continue waiting patiently? One day it will be done. Is it today that they proposed this structural zone? They have been operating it without even putting it in constitution. So, but now they want to legalize it. So there's nothing wrong in whatever. I think we are marching forward. So no matter how you look at it, they say half bread is better than none. But this one, everybody is interested. Let's see how it goes.
I wonder why you're so positive about this particular issue.
Let me tell you, for more than 20 years, I have been following scenarios on this seasonal structure. From the time Ohaneze proposed it, from the time the National Assembly National Conference representative from the Southeast, from Ekweme down to every other person. Igbo spend a lot of money. In Abuja, we hired a full hotel. We have a secretariat where all this thing is being prepared, this bill. So, and to get other zones to support it in the national conference, it's not an easy so. So I have been an insider, and we are properly briefed the gains and loss of this zonal structure, because we have not been. We believe we have been somehow, if I can still use the word, marginalized since after the war. Okay, the one talked about 3 hours. The 3 hours, nothing has been happening. The construction, the rehabilitation, and the what again? This Southeast Development Commission looks like part of it. So you can imagine how many years Gowon left office. Okay, now, this state police, when we proposed it before, they say Igbos want to go back, Biafra. They want to, no. But now everybody knows. How can you bring somebody from Sokoto to come to my village where he never come to before in his life, to go to the bush there and look for a criminal? He will even befriend the so-called criminal because it's the person who will be first available to him. So, but we, the owners of the community, know who is who. So if I'm a police officer now, from Nanka, I was sent to Agro, and I get Agro, and they started mingling with criminals. The Agro people will first spot me out as a major criminal than the one I come today.
All right, there is actually something, if nothing I'm taking away from this discussion is what you said earlier, that the most important thing or what you think is when we weaken the government at the center, others will wake up from their slumber and do something better. There will be competition and regions will develop. Of course, there will be unity and there will be equity and fairness, just like you have said. And to tell you that Damian Okeko, Chief, is very, very optimistic, having followed the discussion for more than 20 years, according to him. He's very, very optimistic that this is a very important bill and which he knows is going to scale. And at the end of the day, everybody will be happy for it. Would like to thank you so much, Chief Damian Okeko, former Vice President, Ohaneze Ndibo Worldwide. Thank you so much for your time on the show this morning.
Thank you, the management of ABS and the people of Anambra State.
All right, that's just about it on our discussion for this morning, the proposed geopolitical zone bill, prospects and challenges. He's not even seeing any challenge at all. That's how we are wrapping up the show for now. Thank you so much for your time. Let's do this again tomorrow. And don't forget, we still have more on the show. We're talking about the sports and, of course, the Akokowa. Stay back.